Hello, welcome back to the Project Hercules Diaries, and nuts to you. Well, actually not nuts, because these are bolts, aren't they? And before somebody points that out. So these are the bolts that hold the inlet manifold in place, and I posted a video about how much of a pain in the bum it was to take all of the old gunk off, or latex we think it might be now, and polish them all up. And somebody commented to say, why don't you just buy new ones? And well, the honest answer is the thought never occurred. Yes, I could measure them. I could order them online and get some nice shiny new ones. I just never thought of it. But there's always a but, isn't there? These are really difficult to get in because the inlet manifold shape and the fact that the fin of the cylinder extends here means it's quite difficult to get in with a socket, and it's really fiddly to do these. So I thought actually it might be better to swap them all for cap screws and buy cap screws. Somebody else commented to say, well, what is the actual thread? Do you know? Is it a one-off special? So I thought I'd bust out the thread gauges and have a look. So just out of interest, I can't actually tell you for certain whether they are 316 BSF or 2BA, because they are, as far as I can tell doing a bit of research, interchangeable. The thread number of turns per inch is the same, the outside diameter is the same, but it's the angle of the thread itself. I think from memory it's 55 degrees for the old British stuff, BSF, and it's 47.5 degrees for BA. And my eyes, I can't really tell. Certainly a BA bolt fits in the head, and so does a 2BA. As it happens, I have in my box of bits a load of old 2BA, I say old, new old stock if you like, 2BA screws. So I might just use these because I think they'll be easier practically to put on than the old bolts. So we'll see how that goes. But rather annoyingly, one of the holes unfortunately has been in the past drilled out and tapped to M6 by somebody. I don't know who, but obviously somebody's bust one of these in the past and they've tapped to M6. So I've now got the prospect of having the entire set of 32 like this, apart from one which will be an M6 bolt, which doesn't look very good. So perhaps I'll get some brass, and I've got some dies, so I'll make a special custom M6 brass bolt that's got the same diameter head with a slot in, or maybe I embrace it and use it to put a P-clip on and hold some wires, and then people will know that it's done for a purpose. Or perhaps I just leave it as a M6 cap screw and make people wonder, oh, why is that one different? It's a battle between my inner OCD, inner perfectionist, and the desire to actually get something done and go for a ride. But it is that one there out of interest, which is at the rear of the cylinder at the back. So that's going to be in there, that one there, right on the back of the engine. So there is a possibility to utilize it, possibly for some wiring or something. So it remains to be seen. If you didn't spot before, that little oil slick isn't an oil leak from the bottom of the engine. I did have a little bit of a mild panic that in perhaps removing so many of the screws around the engine cases, I've actually created a leak when I lifted it in. But no, as I've been turning the engine by hand, the oil pump is doing its job, scavenging from the bottom of the crankcase the oil that we put in to assemble the engine, and it's just been pushing it out of the oil return, and it's just been dribbling down here and onto the floor. So no disaster there is no oil leak. So what I'll be on the rest of the day is probably fitting the manifold, and maybe a couple of other bits and bats, and just generally having a potter around the shed. So as usual, thank you for watching. I never thought, I bet you never thought either, that the thread of a particular bolt is so enthralling, and I didn't know when I got it this morning that 2BA and 316 BSF are interchangeable. So there you go, every day is a school day. Thank you for watching, and more updates will follow.